Congressman Jim Jordan is with us now. What's your take on Adam Schiff's 2024 agenda?
Well, it's the left, as you said, Stuart. Open borders, non-citizens voting, raise everybody's taxes. I mean, it's basically Joe Biden. I say all the time, think about it, in 3 years' time, we've literally went from a secure border to no border. We've went from safe streets to record crime. We went from $2 gas to $3, $4, $5 gas. And maybe most importantly, we went from stable prices to record inflation under the left's policies. And I haven't even got into foreign policy where, the weakness projected from the Oval Office has led to all kinds of terrible things, namely Hamas and Hezbollah attacking our dearest and best friend, the state of Israel. So that's just more, that's where the left is, whether they're running for Senate, whether they're running for president.
I think we're in agreement on this one, Jim, so I'm going to move on. Hunter will sit for a closed-door deposition February the 28th. What's the first question you want answered by him?
Who'd you call on December 4th? You're in Dubai. The heads of this Burisma, this Ukraine energy company that you sat on the board of, said, we're under pressure. We need help relieving the pressure we're under from the prosecutor in Ukraine. When we talked to Devin Archer, he said, first he said he called his dad. Then he said he called D.C. I want to know who he talked to. Did you talk to Vice President Biden? Who else in D.C. did you talk to? Because what happened just a few days after? Joe Biden went to Ukraine, conditioned the release of American tax dollars on firing the prosecutor who was applying the pressure to Burisma, the company that Hunter Biden sat on the board of. So that, I think, is a critical question. Then there's some other obvious ones, like who's the big guy? We all know who it is, but I want to have Hunter Biden confirm that. All right, who's the big? What was the brand that you were selling? Your partner Devin Archer said the brand was access to Joe Biden. Is that what you think? Is that the brand? Is that what you were selling? So I think there's some just fundamental basic questions that we want to get out, and then there'll be a lot of others as well.
If it's a closed door hearing, and it is, what's the advantage of that from your point of view?
Well, you get a whole hour. Our chief counsel on the committee will get a whole hour of questioning. Then it goes to the Democrats, then back, and you can go several hours of this. That's where you can really get into things versus the 5 minutes that happens typically in a congressional hearing, member by member. So you always do depositions first, and we have them, I think, now in the proper sequence. We had Kevin Morris yesterday, the guy who bought a bunch of Hunter Biden's art, who's paid for a bunch of his tax bills and other bills. We're going to have next week Rob Walker. We got Eric Schwerin. We got Tony Bobolinsky. We got Jim Biden, who's coming in, and then of course Hunter Biden at the end of February. So we got these key people we want to talk to as part of our impeachment inquiry, and then we'll have to make a decision whether we're moving forward with articles of impeachment or not.
Got it. All right, Jim. The New Hampshire primary is coming up Tuesday next week. Trump's clearly running away with the nomination. That's my opinion. Is it time for the other candidates, Haley and DeSantis, to drop out?
Well, I leave that up to them. What I know is President Trump's going to win. I think he's going to run away with this nomination, just like he did in Iowa. I think he's going to be, more importantly, our next president, which is what we really need. Back to the policies where you had someone in the Oval Office who actually did what he told the American people he was going to do and made life better for families across this great country. So that's what I hope happens. If they stay in for a few more states, I mean, that's up to them, but I don't think it matters. President Trump's going to win. He's going to be our nominee, and I think he's going to be our next president.
One thing that's been striking us is the extraordinary contrast between the President Biden, whose cognitive ability seems to be declining on a daily basis and who has absolutely no energy, and Donald Trump, who's racing around the country from courtroom to caucuses to primaries, and the man doesn't lose a step. I mean, that's a hell of a contrast.
No, it sure is, and I think the country sees that. They know the energy President Trump has. More importantly, they know he's fighting for them. He has a great line he uses in almost every speech he gives. And he says, they're coming after me because I'm fighting for you. And actually out in Iowa, he changed it a little bit. I thought it was even better. He said out in Iowa, we were at a rally with the president, he said, they're coming after my freedom because I'm fighting for yours. And the country understands that. And that's why you saw the enthusiasm in Iowa in minus 20-degree temperatures, people coming out to support President Trump because they know he is fighting for them. And they know what we had when he was president just a few years ago.
Jim Jordan, thank you very much for being on the show today. Always appreciate it.
You bet, Stuart.
See you soon.
Thank you, brother.